There we go. We are live.
Oh, everyone. How's everyone doing?
Very, very excited. It's a good day.
Yes.
Great RoberCon.
So welcome to the Doctor Who Season 12 panel. Obviously, things are going to be a little bit different than usual, but if you have any questions that you would like to ask or anything like that, there is the Q&A function that's at the bottom of the screen, and we will try to get to those whenever possible. So first of all, if everybody wants to go around the room, and introduce yourselves and maybe say your favorite doctor and your favorite companion. And I was also wondering, considering how Jana is dressed, perhaps your favorite master.
I guess I'll start.
Okay, Matt will go first.
Oh, Clarissa, sorry.
I'm just going by how people are on the screen.
That's fair. You know I always end up talking too much during these things anyways.
That's okay.
You can go first. That'll give me a chance to figure out my answers.
I love 11. 11 will be my doctor forever. I don't see that changing anytime soon. I just like that he's a giraffe and it's exciting. My favorite companion is and will always be Wilfred Mott. I know he wasn't really a companion for a long situation, but he is a companion nonetheless. And my favorite master, Missy. Oh, geez, Missy. My dear Missy. That's it. Oh, and I'm Matt, by the way. Hi.
Do you want to go, Clarissa? Or Jana, you can go?
Sure, I'll go so we don't have to keep going, Clarissa. Hi, I'm Clarissa, she, her pronouns. I'm really bad at favorite questions. I'm just really indecisive. I really love the third Doctor. I don't think he gets enough props sometimes. And I love the fifth Doctor, and I love David Tennant, and I love Jodie. I don't hate any of them. I know some people have like anti-favorites. I really like them all in different ways.
Just depends on how you're feeling that day.
Exactly, yes. Among my many favorite companions is Ace. Paul McGann gave her a shout out earlier, and I was like, me too. And I love Donna. I think she got done wrong. I love Martha. I think she got done wrong. And favorite master. You know, I really kind of enjoyed some of the classic masters with the goatees and the terrible pseudonyms. Yeah. But I also have enjoyed all of them. I'm good.
All right, Jana, your turn.
So, hi, I'm Jana. Favorite Doctor would be 4 and 12. Companion would, I'm so predictable. Companion would be Romana, any incarnation, and controversially, Clara is my favorite companion, and my favorite master, I'm gonna have to say Delgado and now Sasha. I didn't have a favorite master until now, which is kind of very new for me.
Well, I'm Adrienne, I'm the moderator, and like Clarissa, I go back and forth between 10 and 12, it just depends. Someone's Scottish, so not all the time McCoy, although when I'm feeling kind of strange, definitely McCoy, so the Scottish ones. Companions would probably be Sarah Jane, Donna, and Bill, so the ladies. Master, like Matt, Missy's my favorite. I just love her, and I wish around longer, especially her and Jodie would be very interesting going back and forth. So okay, so now that we have talked about the master, let's talk about the master and his introduction in season 12 with Sausage Dewan's in Spyfall where he was the spy master, and then he's might as well just call me Master. So what does everybody think? I know Jana already probably likes him because he's one of her favorite Masters. So what does everybody else think?
I think he's wonderful. He's maniacal and scary in a psychotic way that we haven't seen with the Master. John Sims had a similar tone in his appearances when he's like glowing and everything. He had that craziness, but it's just that was different. Something about Sasha's portrayal and the energy that is in every single beat when he's on that screen is amazing. It's wonderful. He's fantastic.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's a combination of sort of elegant and manic. I really just like sort of out of character. I kind of love the fact that he played Waris Hussein in An Adventure in Space and Time, and that he's married to Anjali Mohindra, who played Rani Chandra in the Sarah Jane Adventures. So he's one of those people like David Tennant and Peter Davison who are like literally Doctor Who family. My only issue with the writing of him was I could have done without the whole take your first master of color and put him in a Nazi uniform thing. I had serious reservations about that.
Yeah, I had issues with that also.
Yeah, but that wasn't Sacha Devon's fault. He played everything.
Oh no,
perfectly. Yeah.
I mean, I love his costume, as Jana is dressed as. I think it's a great combination of Missy, a little bit with the plaid pants, kind of like the Second Doctor. It's a very classic, stylish vibe that I think is pretty good. I'm hoping that we see him again because, of course, he isn't dead, because the Master never really dies, just changes. So hopefully we'll see him again. Let's see. Speaking of seeing people again, how excited was everybody to see Captain Jack again?
Oh, I loved it. It was so good.
So I didn't know any spoilers for this past season, so I didn't know that we were getting a new Master. I didn't know that Captain Jack was coming back, so I was experiencing it all in real time, and I went into the kitchen and I had to leave the episode when Captain Jack came. I came back in and he wasn't on the screen, and my mom filled me in on what had just happened, and I was like, did you somehow switch it? Like, Captain Jack isn't on this season. What are you talking about? And it was. It was so exciting.
Yeah, and I thought it was interesting that he didn't actually meet the Doctor. He thought everybody else was the Doctor that he met. So that was pretty funny.
Yeah, that was very meta, I thought.
Yeah, pretty much on par and course for the season. Matt.
I love Captain Jack. I've always loved Captain Jack. I mean, he comes right in and gives Bradley Walsh a smooch.
I know.
That's the most Captain Jack thing I've ever seen in my entire life. I can't wait to see him come back, and I hope he does, because I want to see that interaction with Jodie.
Oh, absolutely.
I think John Berman and Jodie together would just be electric. But I thought it was wonderful.
Supposed
like,
to
wasn't
be
even
back.
Yeah, I think so. There's a lot of rumors of it, but it didn't even feel like fan service, you know?
Well, I think he actually came out and said that he was going to be in it, probably before he was supposed to.
Well, that's good to hear.
I think he might have actually, because I think they shot it last year.
Yeah,
when he still had black hair, because now if you see his social media, he's gone gray.
Silver Fox over there, John Barron.
which is quite nice.
Yeah, it looked really good.
But I think he is supposed to be in the special Revolution of the Daleks, which they're saying is supposed to be on Christmas. I think that's what Chibnall has been talking about. So I'm very excited. Whenever he's on screen, it just makes me happy. And sometimes even when things like the rest of the episode cannot be great, if he's on the screen, it just makes everything better. that episode that he was in was kind of crazy. And that wasn't even, him showing up wasn't even the craziest thing about it. Of course, we had the introduction of Ruth, the kind of the fugitive doctor. I think people are calling her that, played by Jo Martin. And what do you guys think about her?
Oh my God, I love her, and I want to find out the mystery.
Absolutely.
I'm seeing more of her, and I love her outfit, and I just.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, they really hit us with everything in that episode, like, because we knew Captain Jack was coming back. What could be bigger than that? And then, holy crap, a doctor that we've never seen before, a TARDIS that we've never seen before, and why it was. I loved it, and she nailed it. Like,
oh yeah, she's a fantastic actress.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah.
I loved her TARDIS because it was classic Who, but it kind of had a new spin on it, which always makes things better. And her costume had I was researching it, they're saying it kind of had a 12 vibe because it was Doc Martens, with the slacks like he had, but a little bit of tweed, like 11 with the, and the waistcoat. And then she kind of put her own vibe on it with the very, very bright colors on the top. So I know Matt and Jan are both very into costuming. I mean, what did you think about her look?
So I actually own the fabric for her shirt. And it's a traditional African print, which is just so cool. And the way that they pieced it together to create that top. And I know somebody asked Ray Holman about it, and he said that he used like a vintage 40s pattern or something like that. And I think it was really cool. Like, her whole look was just so cool. And the glasses, like,
oh yes, my favorite part.
It was just so fun.
And she's so sassy. Oh, love that.
Oh yeah.
She was kind of like 12, but not.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know. I just loved her.
And she just owned it. Like, when she's in a room, like, you can't take her eyes off of her.
Yeah, she's got a lot of, like, I guess, gravitas or something as well. And I love that combination in a doctor of, like, quirky and sort of attention commanding at the same time.
Yeah, it's like sorry, go ahead, Adrienne.
Oh, I was just going to say, it's like a complete contrast to Jodie, which made it even more interesting that it's all supposedly the same person, just different iterations, supposedly. Go ahead, Matt.
It's absolutely just what you were saying. Jodie's fight or flight is still, when Jodie's serious, it's still a little playful, because that's just the nature of her as a character and as an actress. But with Ruth, with this new fugitive doctor, it was like the playful time, you had those quirky moments, but then when it was business, it was business. That it was a really nice switch, and it was so Capaldi-esque in that moment, because Capaldi like has those like goofy moments, then that attack eyebrow goes into position, and like everyone in trouble at that point.
Yeah, and she, like, you know, with a gun, which, you know, doctors never do guns, even though they do.
Yes, they do.
They just say that they're not violent. So what did you guys think of the Fugitive, the Judoon episode? I mean, it was crazy, and I kind of felt like after all that happened, like, the following episode was kind of a letdown. Because it was kind of this huge moment right in the middle of the season, and then it kind of went down again until you got to the very end, where even more crazy things happened.
I really liked it. I'm sorry. I really liked the fact that the Judoon came back, and I agree with you 100% that it was this huge moment, this big thing, and then I love this season, but I wish that they had sort of spread that arc a little bit more sporadically through the second half, so it just wasn't.
It definitely could have been 2 episodes.
Absolutely. Yeah. I absolutely adored this season, but that's my one gripe on it, I think, is that storyline should have been segmented just slightly throughout.
Yeah, because it just kind of it stopped completely until the finale.
Exactly.
I literally forgot about Praxius, the episode after that. Like, I There is nothing about that episode in my memory.
I can't even remember it right now.
Yeah.
And that's awful.
It was that one and the one that was right after it that I completely forgot that it even existed. Can You Hear, which was episode 7. I just remembered that there was sections that took place in Syria and the guy had the creepy fingers that were like floating around going into people's heads.
Yeah. Ugh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. That's the only thing that I remember about it, because after Fugitive of the Judoon, it was just kind of like your mind was blown there for a few episodes, and it's like, okay, you're doing this to let us recover before you throw even more stuff at us at the end of the season.
I think part of why I don't remember either of those episodes very well is because I was probably like just eagerly looking for any hint of Jack Harkness or Ruth.
Oh, yeah.
That's probably why.
I completely agree.
Same.
So, one of the things that Doctor Who I think does extremely well, and there's a couple examples of that in this season, is historical figures. I know in the last season, everybody's favorite was related to Rosa Parks, and also when they did kind of the Indian-Pakistan separation. I know those were 2 of my favorite episodes. One of my favorites in this season was definitely the Nikola Tesla episode. And the actor they got to play him was fantastic, and I think perfect for that role. We also had, of course, Ada Lovelace and Noor Khan in the second part of the intro to this season, who I really thought they should get their own episodes separately.
Yeah,
Yeah. Do you agree?
Yeah. That was another one that I kind of thought should have been spread out, and I was kind of shocked that it was.
You're breaking up, Jana.
Yeah, Jan, you're breaking up. When you do that.
Yeah.
Oh no. Let
Well, we
me.
can hear you now, of course.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, and then
Of course.
her video just went.
Yeah, I switched it off for a second.
Oh,
I'm gonna
okay.
try-
Yep. Okay.
I'm switching it right now, so hopefully now it's okay.
How dare you?
This is a very important discussion you're interrupting. So anybody else thoughts about Ada Lovelace and Noor Khan and Tesla and Thomas Edison also, who showed up in the Tesla episode?
I mean,
I love it. Sorry, go ahead.
No, please. Go ahead, Clarissa.
Oh, okay. I kind of love when anybody throws shade at Thomas Edison.
That's almost exactly what I was about to say. I like Tesla on screen in any pretty much iteration.
Yeah.
But I mean, just be able to see that little friction, that tension, that's a lovely thing.
Yeah, that was fun. And, Ada Lovelace can appear in everything as far as I'm concerned. She's a really interesting person. And Noor Khan also, and I sort of vaguely knew about her, but then I was like, now I need to go buy a biography and read it.
Yeah. Yeah, I had never heard of her before this, and she sounds very fascinating and definitely worth more than being a throwaway character for, 10 or 15 minutes.
It was really funny that they had Ada Lovelace, because I watched Victoria.
Right, I was thinking the exact same thing, actually. I remember
Ada Lovelace and
yes.
that whole thing, and I was like, this is all oddly connected somehow.
It's all British television.
Yeah.
It's a very small country. There are only so many actors. That's what I keep telling myself. That's why everyone always shows up in everybody else's show, it seems like. Because, of course, Victoria was Clara, so it's just just round and round. So another one of probably one of my favorite episodes, again, was the Villa Duati episode with Byron and Shelley. And I didn't realize that Ada Lovelace was actually Byron's daughter in real life. And I think they even, when I watched it again, because I rewatched the episodes recently, that he actually mentions her and the doctor mentions her very briefly. So it's interesting how they connected those historical figures with the episodes like that.
Yeah, was it Villa Diodati was one of my favorite episodes.
Oh yeah, I agree.
Really atmospheric and little bits of real history in there, and I mean, like the history part of my brain is always winces a little bit when the doctor feeds lines to Shakespeare and Shelley and whatnot, but within the context of the show, it's always hilarious.
Matt or Jana, do you have any thoughts on that?
That episode really took me to where it was set. And I really felt that atmosphere, which I don't usually notice with Doctor Who. Like, I don't ever think like, oh, I feel like I'm at the beach right now, or oh, I feel like I'm in the woods. It was definitely like I am at that villa with them. Super and it's raining and it's like a storm, and it just was very atmospheric.
Yeah, I agree.
Great Halloween rewatch episode.
Oh yeah,
Sorry,
absolutely. It was very immersive in that sense. And also, what a great comparison to Frankenstein's monster with the Cybermen. Something that I'm surprised hasn't happened before, because it's almost like tailored to make that story happen. But no, I thought it was great. It was, like Jana said, the look and the feel of it is what pulled me in. And I remember it was like one of the episodes I didn't speak during. I was just channeled and focused. It was nice.
Yeah, and a lot of times, I know it's just because I have no attention. Like a couple of those episodes that we already mentioned in this panel, I was on my phone, like distracted, wasn't paying attention, and that's why I can't remember it. But this episode, like, I was there for it the whole time, because I was just enjoying, like you were talking about, the atmosphere that they were setting there. And it was a ghost story, which I love ghost stories, so it was kind of perfect. And definitely I'll have to watch it again on Halloween, because that will be perfect.
Oh yeah, that was a good idea.
I liked that we had Byron, the Jack Harkness of the episode, flirting with the doctor incessantly.
Oh yes, it made me think of all those, like Kate Beaton has some really funny comics about Byron and Shelley from back in the old days of the internet. But it was really hard for me to not think about those comics while I was watching it.
So along with, I wrote notes because I have to write notes. I love that at the very end, Byron says she was the universe. That was perfect, the way he kind of referenced the doctor's recitation at the end. So that was very cool.
And that's some of the writing of this season was so beautifully placed, just like that moment. I know that was a really lovely moment.
Yeah, I definitely felt that with the Tesla episode also.
Yeah.
Just him being he cares about, future, and even if he doesn't make money out of it, he's still going to be happy with what he has created. And that's a very powerful statement about him, as opposed to Thomas Edison, who was all about the money all the time, at least in that iteration. So also we have in the Shelley episode the introduction, as we were told about by Captain Jack, the lone Cyberman, dun dun dun, who didn't get the full, he had the issues with his mask, and he still has a lot of emotion, so he didn't get the full conversion. And along with that, we have the Cyberium, which I don't think we've ever heard of that before. Is that a new concept for this season? It seemed kind of foreign to me when I heard it the first time, that it's kind of almost like a Cyberman Matrix. Like the Time Lords have the Matrix with all of their thoughts in there, but this is where they have all of their information and intelligence and things like that.
Yeah, that's a new thing, I think.
I think it is new too. I'm not quite sure though. I mean, when I heard it, I was like, oh yeah, the Siberian. But then like after the episode, I was like, wait a minute.
Are we looking at the comments? Somebody said that they think it was the first Doctor.
Right, I think.
Yeah, there was in Tomb of the Cybermen, there was the history.
Which was the second Doctor.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah,
I knew it sounded kind of familiar, but for the most part, I didn't have any idea what it was. So do you think that was effective? And the lone Cybermen, it was kind of interesting that they decided to introduce them ahead of the two-part finale to kind of lead you into that storyline.
Yeah, no, I thought that was actually a way to prepare everyone for a return to the Matrix.
Right.
Doctor Who's version of the Matrix, of course. And it was, first of all, I love, just jumping the gun, the Matrix portion. I love old Doctor Who lore reestablished, but I know we're going to get there. And I like the expansion of Cyberman lore as well, because we have a lot of different iterations between Mondas and so many different origins of different Cybermen from different universes as well. So I think it was great going into the Siberian.
Yeah, and I think, I guess we can move into the two-part finale. The redesign that they did for the episodes was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because we find out there's so much about the Daleks. Honestly, at times I like I'm more interested in the Cybermen because they were human at some point and they've been converted, and
I think they're
all
more
their
fake.
emotions have been removed and things like that. It's scarier to me because they were human to begin with. Although I thought it was
Absolutely agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Cybermen have always scared me more than the Daleks. The Daleks, I mean, have some scary moments, but I mean, they're garbage cans and
with plungers attached to them,
yeah,
and egg beaters attached to them.
The Cybermen, especially when I first started watching the original series, just the slow-moving nature. There's something about that. Like, even though if you're running, they're not going to catch up to you.
But they're just so
it looks
relentless.
like one of those. Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't. Yes.
So we have, of course, it was a combination, the two-part finale. We had the return of the Master, we had the return of the Cybermen, we had Ruth show up again briefly in the Matrix. I don't know how familiar the audience is with the Matrix, but it was a big part of Classic Who on Gallifrey, because it was a kind of all of the paint rollers, the combined knowledge of all past, current Time Lords, all of their histories are all kind of stored in this database that certain members of the Time Lord race were in charge of protecting. And a few times, is it the Lone Assassin? I'm trying to remember the name of the episode, the Tom Baker episode.
It is,
where he had to actually go into the Matrix. And so there are all sorts of different situations and things that he experienced in there that weren't necessarily true. They were kind of trippy. But that's just a little bit of background about the Matrix. And we haven't really talked about it, I guess, because Gallifrey has been Deadly Assassin. Thank you. Gallifrey has been gone for so long that we really haven't visited that much. So, Matt, you were excited about the Matrix returning. What did you think about how that played out in these episodes?
I thought it was great. I was really excited to see where this was going to go. And when the Morbius doctors showed up, I mean, in that flash sequence, I love bringing that little bit of lore to the present, because that was never understood or explained, that these pictures of the crew that they used as the doctors in one random episode are now canon within there. We don't know the exact time frame or the order or anything along those lines, but that's an exciting way to bring old Who into now and explain one of the longest running plot threads that hasn't been answered, but also now asks more questions. I thought it was great. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, go ahead.
I was gonna say, it was very exciting to see. I did the thing that I think a lot of sort of the newer fans did, which is where I started watching the new Doctor Who with David Tennant, and then, or actually Christopher Eccleston, sorry. Then we went back and we watched all of the rest of it.
Right. That's
was
what I
like-
did also. I did the
Yeah.
exact same thing.
And it was great to see the way things are interwoven and the way things that you might have thought were new introductions were not at all.
Right.
So that callback, deliberate callback, I really liked it. That always seemed like such a juicy chunk of lore to just sort of leave behind, because they eventually came up with the 12 regeneration limit.
Right.
And then they were like, oh, we're just going to pretend this is not what it was heavily implied to be in the original episode.
Right.
The faces, I mean, sorry. There's like no antecedents in that sentence.
We all understand what you're talking about. It's okay.
Yes.
Dr. Who mind meld.
For those who don't know, who are listening in, is it the brain of Morbius or the mind of Morbius? I can't
Brain.
remember. Brain of
Brain.
Morbius.
Mhm.
Where they're experimenting on the Fourth Doctor, and they kind of locate all these past iterations, which include these pictures of these doctors that we have never seen, that no one ever knew were members of the crew, that they just kind of threw in there. And
Yeah,
was-
Philip Hinchcliffe, the legendary
Right.
producer, was one of them.
it was just kind of a toss-off. It was never mentioned again, but it seems like Chibnall has decided that he's going to bring that into full effect. That the fact that there are more than 12 or 13 doctors out there, with this theory of the timeless child, which is the big shocking twist that the Master introduces the Doctor to in the Matrix. And I knew I had heard that name before, but I couldn't remember where it was. But it was in the Ghost Monument. I don't know if you remember that from the previous season, where it's kind of that part where it's the little, the rags and things are floating up in space, and they call her the timeless child. And again, it was just kind of tossed. It was tossed off.
Yeah.
Like, are they going to explain it? And they didn't explain it the entire season. And then evidently they decided that the payoff was going to be at the end of this season. So, the timeless child. What does everyone think about that? Or would you like me to explain it? Because it's complicated. It's essentially saying that the Doctor is the timeless child, and she's pretty much immortal. And the Time Lords set up the stricture of there being a set number of regenerations. But because she's not a Time Lord, she's basically immortal, which essentially throws out the entire canon of this show. Exciting, making you angry. How does everybody feel about this? I certainly had feelings, probably not the same feelings that everyone else did, but there were cuss words coming out of my mouth, a lot.
I personally dig it. I think Doctor is all about reinventing itself through the eras, through different doctors, so many different doctors. And I also don't trust this Master to not have done something to the Matrix or something. So I don't think we know the full story. I think this is just the beginning of something much, much bigger. But I love it when they expand things into the ridiculous, because I myself am the ridiculous. And
I myself am strange and unusual.
yeah, I was my take on that. Yeah, I don't know. I really liked it, and I mean, I'm going to say that about pretty much everything Doctor Who ever. So that's why all my answers are I thought it was great.
And we just had a wonderful comment. Now that they did Ruth, they can do the Valeyard. So we're going to mention the Valeyard.
Bring
Thank
back
you,
the
Paul. Yes,
Valeyard,
they can.
bring back the Ronnie. I'm all
Oh, the Ronnie.
Yes, bring back the Ronnie.
yeah.
There's so much. At first, I'm like, oh, maybe Ruth. She's the Ronnie. I don't know what's going on if she couldn't be the actual Doctor.
I'm pretty sure I went. Ronnie, no. Valeyard, no. Romana, and no. And I had a
Bring
moment.
back
No
Romana
Doctor.
too. Yeah, they were playing with us. They knew we'd all be like that. I actually feel like I can't really judge the Timeless Child until I see the beginning of next season. There was so much going on, and I think it really depends on what they're gonna do with it next. Some of it
I feel the same,
go,
exactly the same.
Yeah.
Although everybody, when the Cybermen came out with like the big, I was just like,
The Mondas style Cybermen or
yeah,
whatever.
it was like the Cyber Masters or the Cyber Lords or whatever they were
Yeah.
calling them. It was a combination of the Time Lords and the Cybermen that the Master had created. It was just like, it hurt my head for a little while because I'm so not used to putting those two things together. They're so distinct. But when they came out with the big collars, it was just shocking.
Oh yeah.
What a scary
Cyber
concept.
Masters. Yeah.
Cybermen who can regenerate no matter how many times
Oh.
they die. That's a horrifying thought. Also, it's a great cosplay opportunity.
Yeah, I'm definitely
Gotta
gonna
get a laser cutter.
Working on that.
So yeah, I agree it'll be interesting, and I don't think that the Christmas holiday episode is gonna delve too much into that because
Yeah,
I
it's
think
usually a capsule
a
episode.
separate
Yeah.
a separate entity. So we might
But
not
we have to wait 2 years.
exactly. I was just gonna mention that they're saying that it's probably gonna be 2022 because of COVID.
Heading.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of get that. We just started watching
yeah.
Bake Off, and they're making everybody live together for 7 weeks. I was like, oh god, they might not want to do that.
Yeah,
And
because they're together. It's months, like 7
yeah,
months.
and it's a
Shoot.
much bigger operation, than Bake Off. So yeah, I get it. I'm sad, but I get it.
Yeah, and I mean, it's not like we haven't had that drought before, and this is, legitimate reason for that.
Yeah, during that time, you could catch up on like 1% of Big Finish's output.
Which
Not
we'll
2
be doing.
years.
We'll be doing another panel. We're doing a Big Finish panel tomorrow. And there's also going to be a panel on the ladies of Doctor Who, I think tomorrow afternoon also, for anyone who's interested in the classic Romanas of the world, would like to talk about that.
Of course, I have another panel at the same time.
I
so-
do too, so I was kind of
I'm on it, so
Oh, you are.
completely
Just
contradictory
talk about
opinions,
Romana.
what
That's
just
all I
said.
ask.
Yeah, it's funny. Well, anyway, yes, Romana,
and the Ronnie.
especially Romana one. Yeah.
So,
oh, sorry. Go ahead, Adrienne.
oh, go ahead. You're good.
Oh no, I had nothing to contribute.
I was just gonna. I mean, I think we have to wrap up at 1:45. So, any kind of predictions or hopes for the holiday special? I mean, there are rumors that Graham is going to be leaving and that Ryan is going to be leaving. It's just going to be the Doctor and Yaz after that episode. And you can kind of see them heading that way. Like Ryan's kind of getting, he wants to be with his friends, and Graham's worrying about his health. And
We haven't really talked about Graham and and Yaz much. I still love all of them.
Yeah.
I think it was too many. We don't really know them very well.
Well, yeah, this is why I'd prefer to have them stick around a little bit more. I enjoyed the crowded TARDIS of, I think it was the fifth Doctor in particular.
That was a lot.
Yeah, it was a lot, but I enjoyed it because there were all these other opportunities for interaction and personal stories. But they have really chosen not to focus on that, I think.
Yeah, and it feels like the companions were always supposed to represent the audience, and it doesn't seem like they've done that with them as much. I mean, Graham I love because he's the comic relief in every instance, and the laser shoes is one of my favorite examples of that.
I think in the first series, they did a little bit more of having the companions sort of have different reactions that any one of us
Right.
have to being dragged into the TARDIS.
It doesn't seem like they focus on them too much. I mean, this season.
I do think any one of them could stand alone as like the
absolutely.
companion, totally.
I would like to see whether it's just Yaz who stays, and if Graham and Ryan go off the TARDIS for a little while, have them come back. So I think that's why Donna is so strong in a lot of people's hearts, because we had this big, huge Donna introduction, then a little break, and then we had Donna back. And it was like, oh, yeah, that's right. You were here and you were fantastic. Where have you been? So I think that might be I hope that if they do leave, that they still come back in some capacity later on. And I like the idea. I saw a couple rumors out there that Graham is another iteration of the Doctor. One of the ones at the time
really?
were sent out to spy. Yeah, I read a couple posts by someone. I thought it was an interesting theory, but I don't.
I
think
don't know
anything's
if
gonna
there's
come
much.
out.
I don't think that's necessarily true.
No,
I don't think so either.
it is.
But
I
you know,
zero-
Although
I
it would
zero-
be funny considering what happened with Captain Jack.
Exactly. Yeah.
I would tie in with
There's-
that.
I was about to say it's good territory for fanfic for sure. Like this season has so many unexplained things in it that you know I haven't checked into the fan fiction this year, but sure it's been very fertile.
Yeah,
I
I'm
just-
just. Go ahead.
I feel like we're headed to something really tragic with Yaz, and I'm not
No,
sure that I'm ready for that. I don't
not
know.
Okay.
I feel like they're building up to it, and I don't. I love her so much. It's
I
just
really
like
need them to.
throwing things in that are like, I don't know.
Mild hint.
I
but-
think Modern Who has had too many tragic companion endings, and I'm really over it as like a cheap
Yeah.
drama.
Can we just have somebody that says, like the Sarah Jane, like, I'm done now, bye.
Or Martha,
Yeah.
it's like, I'm going to get on with my career. I don't
Yeah.
need you
Or
anymore.
this
Yeah.
planet is cool. I'm gonna stay here. Ta.
Yeah.
Oh, E-Space is fun. I'm going to stay here.
But no, we're gonna get really comfortable with having Yaz as like the only companion, and then they're gonna kill her
They
like
better
immediately
not.
right after.
Probably.
That if we know Doctor Who, and I think we know Doctor Who, I think that's the formula.
Okay,
Well, and
we
that's
need
the
all
thing,
of your-
though, with Chibnall, there is no formula.
Yes, that's very, very true. And
He's
that's
thrown literally 60 years of history out.
they just pushed it aside and said, "This is mine right now. You could change it when it's yours." I was like,
So you
That
never
was- that
know
was-
with him.
"Brave of you, sir."
The squishy cannon. Very squishy cannon.
But mostly I'm just happy because if Captain Jack's in it, you know it's going to be fun.
Oh yeah.
And I've always been a fan of the Christmas episodes that they've done in the past, just because they are kind of standalone. It's not too heavy on mythology and trying to remember what happened the last time. It's just kind of a fun jaunt that you have after you've had too much Christmas dinner or New
They're
Year's
really-
or recovering after New Year's. So
Yeah, it's really exciting to be able to get back to a real Christmas episode because
Oh,
whether
yeah.
it's Christmas themed or not, just the timing, if that's when they decide to release it, because that's just tradition. I mean, that was tradition
I agree.
through so much of New Who, and yeah, we got a New Year's special, which was it was New Year's, but it wasn't Christmas. I need that Christmas special or the
I
the
think they
one-off
did it
Easter
for,
special
like,
there.
Cast reasons for religious reasons, though. Like, I think
Oh.
that's
you're-
why they switched to New Year's because,
That's interesting.
yeah,
that
I don't.
very interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm fine with anywhere in the sort of
Anytime, yeah.
I think it's nice to have it in the winter. You know, it is usually a
Yeah.
bright spot. Oh
Especially this year.
my gosh.
Oh,
Yeah.
we have like 2 minutes left, but did you all see those little? Jodie did a recording right at the beginning of lockdown and everything.
Oh,
dressed
yeah.
as the Doctor. And
Oh, and
there's a couple great animations and different things. Rory came back for.
Oh my
a
gosh,
quick
that was
scene.
amazing.
Oh my
he had,
god!
It was
Hey,
a message that he recorded to the son that he and Amy adopted when they went back in time. Yeah, and they're actually, right now, they're doing another lockdown of the Mummy on the Orient Express, which
Cool.
those have been fantastic, especially some of the kind of the watch-alongs have gotten everybody to show up, like David Tennant and Behrman and Noel Clark, and everybody was there
Oh,
tweeting
wow.
along, and everybody was watching the episode together. It's amazing, especially during these kind of crazy times, to go back and watch those with the fans and with the
Right.
actors. It makes you feel like a community. I mean, we all know that there's a rabid Doctor Who community out there, but it's cool when you can come together for something like that. And some of them have raised money for like actors and creatives like that. So I think that was a great idea.
The Pearl Mackey and Matt Lucas one, like I almost cried.
I did cry.
I cried a bunch. I'm not
I think
gonna
that's
lie.
why I missed out on a bunch of them. I didn't want to cry, but now I'm like, okay, maybe I need to go and see what.
That one especially, it was so relevant. And I love the two of them so much. I'm so glad it's on the baking show. Actually, that makes me very happy. But I think Bill and the 13th would have gotten along together very well.
Agreed.
She definitely deserved more than the one season that she got. And every time I go back and watch those episodes, this is exactly what I think every single time, that we deserve more of Pearl Mackey whenever possible.
I hate to be the one to throw a wrench in the works, but we are at our time cap, so we can get everything going for the next panels after this. We got to call this one to a close.
So it doesn't look like we have any questions. So thank you, everyone, for joining in the discussion. I'm glad that we were able to do this.
Absolutely.
Even though we aren't in the line like we usually are every year.
It's okay. It was an awesome discussion. And
oh, yes, I agree.
I love it. I mean, it's not the usual team, but I think this might be the new team. I kind of like this a lot.
I enjoyed it a lot. Thank you so much.
All right, everybody. We'll see you soon.
Thank you for joining.
Bye.